This is the Louie T Network.
Draft Zone. Draft Zone.
Welcome, you
Draft
are in the lab room.
Zone.
I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on this program, 2014 NFL Draft Wrap-Up Series. We're using the Who's Next format, meaning be the first to leave a comment in the comment section of this very video stating you've got next and what team is going to be next in this program. You know how it works. We are here using the grading scale in the lab room, our baseball grading scale, that is. Single, double, triple, home run to break down every single player of every single team in the National Football League. And today, we'll be talking about the San Diego Superchargers. And at first glance, I was like, oh, they had a pretty solid draft. After watching tape and thoroughly breaking down their draft, they had a damn good draft in San Diego. Let's get to the big board, break this thing down. I've got my handy dandy pointer. I've got the big board. I've got everything I need. Let's talk about the San Diego Superchargers and their 2014 NFL draft. So let's play the game. Let's play the draft wrap-up game. Draft wrap-up series here in the lab room. 6 picks for the San Diego Chargers, and they made every single one of them count. And I talked about this with the Cleveland Browns, about having 6 picks and making the most of all your picks. I would love to just give me a compact draft, 6 picks, and give me quality football players. You don't have to give me 10 or 11 picks, 6 of which aren't going to make my roster, 3 of which are going to be on the practice squad, another 4 aren't going to make the team at all. I don't need all of that. I don't need the extra stuff. Trim the fat off. Just give me good football players. I'd much rather have 6 solid picks and feel really good about every single one of them making my team than having 12, knowing good and well that 4 of those guys have absolutely no shot of making my football team. So let's go on and talk about this Chargers draft because this is impressive. You start in the first round, 25th overall selection, cornerback out of TCU, Jason Verrett. And my goodness, was this tape fun to watch or what? You know, it's funny because Mike Mayock was talking about Jason Verrett and how good of a corner he was, and the knock on him was his size and this, that, and the third. And I was like, oh, okay, that's nice, that's cute. He went to TCU and he's a small guy. Strike 1, strike 2. That in my mind, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, give me Justin Gilbert. I went to I watched the combine, and I said, give me Justin Gilbert. I put on the tape, and I'm here to tell you that I am a Jason Verrett fan. To me, he's the best corner in this draft. Best corner in this draft. Right here, Jason Verrett. You watch the tape, and this guy is phenomenal. Nothing slides. And that's what I want out of Justin Gilbert. That nothing slides mentality. The great ones, nothing slides. And don't tell me that this guy has to play in a slot. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. No, you don't want him checking Calvin Johnson. No, you don't want him checking Brandon Marshall. But he doesn't have to play against those guys every week, okay? I'll take my chances with this guy on the outside, man. I'm telling you what, he's better than half of these guys that are 6'1", 6'2", 6 feet, 5'11". He's better than these guys out wide. So don't tell me he has to go into the slot, because I think he can play outside. And again, much like I talked about with the Browns and Joel Bitonio at tackle, until somebody proves to me that he can't play outside, why can't he be the next Brent Grimes? Why can't he be one of these smallest corners like an Antoine Winfield? Why he can't be that next guy? Why does he have to go into the slot? I'm not hearing it, man. This guy can play outside and be one of the better corners in the league. So until someone proves to me that this guy can't play outside, I'm not buying that nonsense. Stick this guy outside on an island and watch him work. This guy is a beast, okay? I'm watching the tape and I'm waiting for somebody to take advantage of him. And I'm like, yeah, he's short. They're going to go up top on him. And there were some bigger receivers on some of the tape I watched. He didn't care. He's physical. He tackles. And they're form tackles. This isn't a guy that's coming up there and he's not trying. He's looking to shoot your cuffs, take you down, and he's smart about everything he does. And he's physical at the line of scrimmage with these receivers. And he'll come up and he plays everything. Nothing slides. And that's what I want on my corner. Nothing slides. The slant route, nope, not having it. The out route, nope, I'm not giving you anything for free. Nothing's for free, okay? Nothing's free. And you want to go up top? I'm with you step for step. We hip to hip. I'm making a play on the football. You'd be lucky if I don't pick it up. And that's something I'd like to see him do more of, though, pick the football off. You know, there's times where he's got opportunities to make plays on the football and he does it. But look, the objective and the name of the game is to make sure that the guy that you're guarding doesn't catch the ball. And Jason Verrett, for me, out of all the players at the cornerback position in this draft, does that the best. And so, man, I am enamored with this guy. I watched the tape and I was floored. I just enjoyed myself watching tape. Some of these guys, you just dread watching the tape. It's slow moving and they're not making a lot of plays. You're like, okay, I need you to do this better. I need you to do that better. With this was just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, because that's what he did. He put on a show for me. And Jason Verrett, man, I absolutely love this pick. I love it. I love this guy. I love this pick. First round, 25th pick, cornerback out of TCU, Jason Verrett is a no-doubter. You can put it on the board. Yeah. Home run. For the San Diego Chargers in the first round. It's no doubt about it. This is a tape measure shot. Hey, center fielder, don't move. Don't move. Because you're not going to catch this one. It's not even close. This one is not coming back. I love this pick. And I think he's the best corner in this draft. To be honest with you, I feel like you got an absolute steal at 25. Because he's the best corner in this draft. If you ask me, pound for pound, best corner in this draft. So you move on to the second round. 50th overall selection, linebacker out of Georgia Tech, Jeremiah Attaochu. And whoa. I put on the tape of this guy, and I didn't go in with any expectations. I didn't go into this process with him saying, okay, this is what he'll be, this is what he'll be, that is what he'll be. I didn't do any of that. I just went in with an open mind and open eyes. And what I saw was a beast. I saw an animal on the field that at times played like a man amongst boys. And you know what? I feel like you got a first-round player here. And I think the thing that makes him a second-round pick is that he's a bit raw. And he isn't that size that you're looking for. You know, a lot of people, we like to play this game where we're looking for the big guy. You know, Clowney, the reason why he's the #1 overall pick is because of his size and his movement skills. Well, this guy moves just as well as Clowney does, but he's just not as big, so it's not as impressive. So we get caught up in all of those things. But the motor runs hot with this guy. Yeah, he could play the run a little bit better. His hands could be a little bit more heavier. Sure, but I don't care about that. This guy is an animal. And I'm going to tell you what, right now, AFC West, this is your new nightmare right here, okay? Add him to the list of disrupting playmaking outside linebackers / defensive ends that can get to the quarterback in this division. You already got Justin Houston and Tamba Ali and Von Miller. Add him to the list. Add him to the list of guys that you're going to have to prepare for every time you play him in this division. AFC West, meet your new nightmare. His name is Jeremiah Attaochu. He's the new Nigerian nightmare. For those of you who didn't know 1.0, that was Christian Okoye. Meet 2.0, Jeremiah Attaochu. This guy is a beast. Go put on the Pitt tape. Now look, Pitt's offensive line, horrendous, okay? Tom Savage, I don't even know how he's still walking around. That offensive line is horrendous. But guess what? When you put a horrendous offensive line in front of me, what are you supposed to do to it? Carve it up like Swiss cheese. And that's what Jeremiah Attaochu and the rest of his mates at Georgia Tech did. And you put on the Clemson tape. The guy is a beast. I'm telling you. The first step, explosive. I mean, there's one play against Pitt where they threw a flag on him because he was so explosive. He timed the snap up, and he was so explosive out of his stance that the tackle wasn't even out of his stance yet before he was already around him and to the quarterback. And so they said, no, there's no way he could be off the ball that fast. Let's just throw the flag. And you go back and you watch the replay and you're like, he's not offsides. He just timed it up, and he's so explosive that he was able to lap that tackle twice before he even moved and get to the quarterback. I mean, this guy is dynamic. And I love his hustle. I love his motor. I love his backside pursuit. So he's a guy that, so he doesn't win the first move, and the quarterback wants to roll out of the pocket and buy extra time, he's coming from the backside. He's coming. Just know he's coming, and know that you need to get rid of the football or you're going to get hit and that ball's coming out. And he's the type of guy that can wreck a football game. He changes things. And he stuck his hand in the ground at Georgia Tech at times. But when he was his most lethal and most explosive was when he was standing up. When he was standing up, rushing off the edge, this guy was a problem every single time. And I want to see him develop some more moves because, and I think that's part of the thing that I was talking about with him being a little raw, is him needing to develop some secondary moves because the speed thing was working so well. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, speed rush around the end if need be. If they get a hand on you, use a rip and get to the quarterback. I want to see him translate speed to power. That's the next phase in this guy becoming the animal that I know that he is. And that you'll find out eventually, and that the rest of the AFC West will find out in due time, is that if this guy can take his speed, translate it to power, and start bull rushing folks, and add a Tamba Ali-esque type of quality to his game where he's just bull rushing and jacking up tackles and putting them on skates, this guy is going to be the next big thing in the AFC West. I'm telling you right now. I am telling you right now. Book it. You heard it here first if you haven't already heard it already. Jeremiah Attaochu is going to be the next big thing in this division if he learns some secondary moves, because the guy is that good already with the one move that he has. Okay? And that's just straight speed. Add something else to that, a spin, a bull rush, a hard outside, back inside move. Start translating speed to power. Oh my goodness. In the second round, 50th overall selection, linebacker out of Georgia Tech, Jeremiah Attaochu for me is a home run. Go ahead. Put it on the board. It's a home run. And I'm telling you what, let him play the run a little bit better. And I think he will. I think he'll get a little bit stronger as well. But let him start translating speed to power. Let him learn a hard outside, back inside move. Let him learn a spin move. All he needs is one counter to speed. Okay? I don't know what the counter is going to end up being. But all he needs is a changeup, a split, a curve to the fastball. And I pity the fool that thinks they're going to block Jeremiah Attaochu in 3 years. Good luck, AFC West. Here's your new nightmare. Sucks to be you. Sucks to be you. Third round, 89th overall selection, guard out of Notre Dame, Chris Watt. I'm a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan. I can't deny it. So I know Chris Watt. I know what he brings to the table. This is a simple eval for me. This guy is as solid as a rock. Solid! Solid as a rock. You don't get much more solid than Chris Watt at the guard position. He was next to a guy that got drafted in the first round, and he's a solid prospect as a guard in this league. Solid feet, really smart and intelligent football player. He went to Notre Dame, so I guess that comes with the territory. You watch him, and he's passing off guys, picking up blitzers. There's never a situation where he doesn't know what's going on. There's not many mental lapses with this guy. You know how sometimes you watch an offensive line and there's a mental breakdown and a guy comes scot-free? Doesn't happen with Chris Watt. It just doesn't. He has a job. He knows what he's supposed to do. He gets the protection. They slide protection. He's going to do his job. He may start off helping the center with a big problem or helping the center chip a guy. He'll come off, pick up the blitzer, and push him around the pocket, and he's just solid. He anchors well. He can block in the run game. I think if he has one weakness in his game, it's the run game and his ability to pick a man up and move him against his will. I don't think he's as powerful in the run game, but as a pass protector, you won't find a better guard to me in this draft protecting the quarterback at the guard position. Naturally, as a guard, the guy gets it at the guard position. It's really simple. I don't have to sit here and beat it into your brain that this guy is as solid as you can get at the guard position, especially in the third round and at the 89th selection. It's good value. Look, you wanted a guy that could come in and help you stabilize your offensive line. Chris Watt is going to do that. And you put him next to a guy that can play the left tackle position and play it for years to come. If you can pair him up with someone that he can look over to his left and know that I know what this guy is going to do. And so we're in unison like he was able to do with Zach Martin at Notre Dame. You got yourself a left guard for the next, or a right guard. He played left guard at Notre Dame. I would want to plug him in to left guard to protect the blind side of your quarterback. And I'm telling you right now, you plug him in and you could easily have yourself a 12-year starter. I mean, Chris Watt is that type of player. I love him. Solid pickup. Third round, 89th overall selection, guard out of Notre Dame, Chris Watt. I'm telling you right now, you're going to love what you're getting in this guy. He's big, he's physical, and he doesn't make mistakes. It's really simple. He's not going to move people out of the way in the run game per se, but he'll get in the way. He'll do his job, okay? It's not pretty, it's not flashy, but it's a really good pick. In the third round, 89th overall selection, Chris Watt for me is a triple. I mean, you're legging out a triple here with this guy. I mean, easily could have been a home run, but he's not good enough in the run game for me to give him a home run grade. But I'll give him the next best thing. He's a triple. And so you move on to the fifth round, 165th pick overall, defensive tackle out of Arkansas State, Ryan Carrethers. And so, smaller school, but again, just dominate the competition. And I put on the tape, and I don't really know what I was expecting here. Maybe I was a little disappointed that the Chargers didn't go after Louie Nix. Maybe I was a little disappointed about that. And so maybe this kind of skewed my judgment a little bit. Maybe I was looking for this guy to be more athletic. He's just not. One of the worst combine workouts, one of the worst pro day workouts. His numbers across the board are bad in terms of the 40, the broad jump, vertical, all that stuff. This guy's not a workout warrior. Won't confuse him for one. But what he does do is he will anchor the center of your defense. He'll be a two-gap guy. He'll eat up space, but he's not getting pressure on the quarterback. The motor runs hot. I will say this about this guy. The motor runs hot. He's a little undersized, and that by that I mean size-wise. He's 6'1", but he's a big guy. Very strong. One of the better weightlifters in the combine at his position. And so he's a strong guy. used to wrestle, so that gives him that leverage aspect that you're looking for. And so he understands using leverage, getting up under pads and driving guys back. But for him to be as big as he is, for him to be with the low center of gravity, you expect him to be almost immovable at times. You expect him to just be a rock, just solid in the middle, hard to move him. The motor runs hot. He's not a guy that you worry about. When he gets tired, I mean, what 340, 350, 330-pound guy, when he gets tired, is out there moving around like he's not tired? I mean, you got to monitor his snaps. But to me, when I watch him on tape, he just doesn't do enough for me. Like, I don't see him impacting the game enough. And there's times where he uses a swim move and he gets in the backfield and he misses the tackle. Or there's a time where he's stacking and shed, but he's not shedding. And I'm like, I think he needs to do a better job of stacking and shedding. That's number one. He doesn't do it well enough. And a guy his size needs to stack and shed at a more efficient rate than what he's doing, because he's got short arms. And so that's going to hurt him, because if a guy has longer arms, he's going to stay glued to Ryan Carrethers. And so that's already another knock on him. And when I tell you he's undersized, that's part of the problem. He doesn't stack and shed. He doesn't stack and shed well. And that, to me, is a problem, especially when you're a two-gap defensive tackle, because you got to be able to make some plays of your own in there. He doesn't have the pod. He doesn't have the paw doom. And so that alarms me as well. You know how I feel about that. If you're going to be a defensive tackle, a nose tackle in a 3-4 defense, I need the paw of doom, and he doesn't have that. And he's not stacking and shedding. And so he doesn't make a big enough impact. I just told you he doesn't get pressure on the quarterback. He doesn't do enough for me. Okay, he's just there. He's just taking up space. And sometimes he doesn't even do that well, because he can get moved out of the way. And again, that comes with the short arms. You get a guy with longer arms that gets their hands on him, and they're able to move Ryan Carrethers out of the way sometimes. And so I wasn't all that impressed with Carrethers. Okay, and now I feel like he's going to serve a purpose. And I think he's going to make your roster, and I think he's going to be a guy that you'll put into a rotation at defensive tackle, at the nose tackle position. But he's not versatile. He's not going to do multiple things along this defensive line. He's just going to be taking up space and hopefully allowing your linebackers to roam free. And that's all you can ask for from Ryan Carrethers. In the 5th round, 165th pick overall, defensive tackle out of Arkansas State. He's a double for me. And this easily could have been a single, but I think he serves a purpose for you. He didn't have to be a playmaker. He didn't have to go out and get in the backfield or get pressure on the quarterback. He just needs to eat up space, and he'll do that. He can't be getting moved out of the way, though, and he has to stack and shed better. But if he could just hold up at the point of attack and allow you to have a stout front seven stopping the run, that's going to be his job. He's not going to be on the field on 3rd downs. If it's 3rd and 5 or more and it's going to be a passing down, he's coming off the field. And so if he can just do his job on 1st and 2nd down, if you're asking him to be on the field on 1st and 2nd down, then he'll be fine. And I think he can do that. He's a double in the 5th round. So you move on to the 6th round, 201st overall selection, running back out of Arizona State, Marion Grice. And this is a guy that I like a lot. Watching him on tape, I was impressed with his versatility. And he's a bigger back. And normally, and when I say bigger back, he's a 6-foot back. You don't see those often. Normally, guys are 5'10", 5'9", 5'8", and usually that's the size of a back, 5'11". Normally, you don't see 6-foot backs in this league. They're just rare. And so when you see a guy like Arian Foster running around, you're like, man, that's a big guy. You know, and he moves well for his size. You're like, wow, okay, that's nice. You know, because it's rare. And Marion Grice is one of those bigger backs. He's a 6-foot back. And that's the first thing you notice about him is he's long, he's big. And normally those type of guys, they run straight up and down like Eric Dickerson. They got that kind of high up running style. And so it's easy for them to take licks and take shots and go backwards because they're so high up, hard for them to get lower than the defender and drive them forward and pick up extra yards. But this guy's got balance. His balance stood out to me on tape. he's never going backwards. For his size, you're thinking, okay, taller back, he's going to be getting driven backwards sometimes. I didn't see him go backwards that often. He's always falling forward. He's got balance. You hit him, he bounces off of you. He finds a way to stay on his feet and get extra yards. He has great vision. I think the reason why you were able to get this guy, because to me, in college football, there's not a better dual threat at the running back position than Marion Grice. And I'm talking about from a running and catching the football standpoint. He does it all. The only thing that I have questions about him with is his ability to pass protect. His pass pro, man, is it iffy. It's iffy. I've seen this guy get blown up on several occasions while he was trying to. One time, the guy just flat out ran him over. And so, at his size, that shouldn't be happening. I don't like to see that from a guy that's 6 feet and as long as he is. But that's something he can work on. That's something that he's going to have to work on. Because if he's going to get on the field and be able to show the fact that he's got great hands and exploit the fact that he's one of the best pass-catching backs in this draft, then he's going to have to be able to pass protect. That's just the name of the game. That's a part of the process. You're going to have to prove that you can pass protect. But Marion Grice, for me, is a guy that can do so many different things on the field. He's multifaceted, multi-talented, and at his size and in the ability to catch the football, the ability to make some things happen out of the backfield, I like him a lot. And the reason why he's around in the 6th round is for 2 reasons. One, he got injured at the end of last season and hasn't been able to work out for anyone. Hasn't been able to show his skills at the combine, his ability to catch the football and wow the scouts that way. And hasn't been able to show anybody at his pro day what he brings to the table, his change of direction and all of that. Can't show anybody because he's injured. So, you know this is a Janet Jackson league. What have you done for me lately? Doom, 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 doom. Ooh, yeah. He hasn't done anything for anyone lately. So, if I can't see you, if you're not tangible, I can't touch you, I got to watch tape, and I can't see it live, I have a problem with that. So, boom, that knocks you down draft boards. And then you want to put on top of that you're a 4'6", damn near 4'7", 40 guy. That's also going to scare some teams away. And so that's why Marion Grice is here in the 6th round. But I think it's a great pickup for you. I mean, the guy never fumbles the football. And that's a stark contrast from the guy that you currently have on your roster right now. Now, he had a good season last year holding on to the ball. But we know in the past he's had issues holding on to the football. So to get a guy that never fumbles, that's music to San Diego Chargers fans' ears. So Marion Grice, for me, is a really solid addition to this team, especially in the 6th round, where I think he's going to give you great value. The only player in college football this past year to have over 400 yards rushing as well as over 400 yards receiving. This guy is a beast, and he catches the football. And he's not just a guy that catches it around the line of scrimmage. You can flank this guy out. You can send him out on a route. He has hands that allows him to run down the field 25 yards and make a snag on the football. He's versatile. You'll like him. He does everything. Has to get better at pass pro. But Marion Grice in the 6th round, 201st pick, running back out of Arizona State, is a double, man. This is a solid double in the gap. And if the guy had a little bit more speed, he'd leg it out for a triple. But the fact of the matter is he's slow. But I'm not going to knock him for that because of his vision, his balance, his ability to catch the football as well as run it, the ability to cut back and have great vision. I like Marion Grice, and I like what he brings to the table. He's a double. He's a solid pickup in the 6th round. You'll really be impressed with what he brings to the table. And so you finish up this draft in the 7th round, 240th selection, wide receiver out of Baylor, Tevin Reese. They call him Sweet Feet. Sweet Feet Tevin Reese. And you don't get a nickname like that and be slow. Okay? So right there, Sweet Feet tells you the guy is a burner. And when I say he's a burner, he's a blazer. Now, this is something that I find funny. I've never seen this. And every year, something cracks me up during the draft process. Whether it's Mike Mayock or Charles Davis, when they're breaking down a player and they say something funny. I remember, I think it was 3 years ago, Mike Mayock said that a linebacker, Zach Brown, that ended up going to the Tennessee Titans. He was allergic to contact. And I had never heard that one before. And I was on the ground dying with laughter. And that was my favorite one-liner from that draft. Then the next year, Charles Davis said about Kiko Alonso that he ran to contact. And that one had me cracking up. He was like, you know how some people run to daylight? Well, this guy runs to contact. And I had never heard that one before. And so that let me know how physical of a player, and we saw it last year, Kiko Alonso was. And so when I saw this, I couldn't do anything but laugh. I couldn't help but laugh. I've never seen this before. The first line on this guy for weaknesses is that when they were talking about his weakness on the NFL.com website was that in dire need of an NFL weight training and nutrition program. And that was hilarious to me. I mean, yeah, the guy's 163 pounds. And he's about 5'11", 6 feet tall. So, I mean, he's really thin. I mean, he's rail thin. Yeah, he's a small guy, easily rerouted at the line of scrimmage. But he's blazing fast. You can't miss the jam on him. If you do, he's gone. And I feel like you must put a jam on this guy because he's so fast. He'll just run by guys. I mean, so he's a specialist. All right. He can run a few routes, but you don't want this guy going over the middle of the field. You don't want this guy necessarily catching slants. You don't want him taking shots. You're going to keep this guy outside on the edges. So you want him running speed outs. You want him running comebacks. You want him to run stops, hitches, bubble screens, and then you want him to take the top off the defense with the 9 route. But or a deep post even. But you don't want this guy running over the middle. You don't want him running dig routes. You really don't want him running drags over the middle of the field. You don't want him anywhere near anybody's middle linebacker because he's just not equipped with the size to be able to take that kind of punishment. You want to keep him outside the numbers. You want to keep him running deeper routes. And so he's a specialized guy. He's going to come in and he's going to take the top off the defense. Pop the top. And the Chargers always can use a guy that can take the top off the defense because it just seems like they never have that guy that can just run by people. You know, Eddie Royal's nice, but to me, Eddie Royal doesn't possess long distance speed. He's quicker than fast. He's in and out of breaks. He's the perfect slot guy. Tevin Reese is taking the top off of the defense. Pop the top. And so you look at Tevin Reese, and I just see speed, and he's going to run really, really fast that way. And I don't want him going this way. I want him going that way, straight. And so I like this pickup because you know what this guy brings to the table. There's no question. You don't have to guess. You don't have to ask yourself, what are we getting from Tevin Reese? What are we getting from Sweet Feet? You're getting speed. That's what you're getting. You're getting a guy that can take the top off the defense that, I mean, there were several games that I watched where this guy's average. And I'm not making this up. I'm not stuttering. It's not a misprint. I didn't misread anything. This guy's average was over 30 yards a catch, and he would have 7 catches. It's easy to average 36.8 yards per catch when you got 3 catches, for 112 yards. This guy would have, 184 yards on 7 grabs and 2 touchdowns. Against K-State, he had like 7 grabs for about $184 and 2 touchdowns. One of them was like an 85-yard touchdown. The other was like a 45-yard touchdown. That's what he does. You don't jam him at the line. He's going to run by your corner and your safety. And so this guy's pure speed. And so you know what you're getting. He's going to make this roster because he brings something to the table that you currently lack. And that's a guy that takes the top off the defense. So what I'm telling you is, in the 7th round, 240th pick overall, wide receiver out of Baylor, Tevin Reese is a double. And you know what you're getting. You know what he is. And if you don't ask him to play out of character, you're getting a good football player that's going to take the top off the defense. Yes, he could stand to get in the weight room, and I expect him to gain at least 10 pounds. I mean, good gosh, 163? I mean, even Deshaun Jackson is bigger than that. Even the smallest guys are bigger than that. He's going to have to put on some weight. but the guy can flat out fly. And at the end of the day, that's going to be his saving grace, and that's what's going to keep him in this league. Got to catch the football when you're open. Sometimes he has lapses in concentration, but for the most part, he catches the football and he runs really, really fast. And so, you look at this draft top to bottom, and this is a really good draft by the Chargers. I enjoyed breaking down tape of this draft. You got a really good group of football players here. This draft right here, Tom Telesco and company knocked it out of the park. And I'm going to tell you what, this is the type of draft that has you competing for the AFC crown in 2 seasons right here. This type of draft right here is going to make you a better football team immediately. And honestly speaking, I could see you winning this division in 2 or 3 years from now because of drafts like this. These are the type of drafts that make you a Super Bowl contending type of team down the road. If you can continue to stockpile talented players like this, because like I said, I'd much rather have a draft like this than a draft like, say, the 49ers or the Rams where you get 12 players and you know 4 of them aren't making your roster and 2 of them have to sit out for a whole entire year and about 4 or 5 of these guys are going to be impact players. Look, trim off all the fat. I don't need all the extra 7th and 6th round picks. Give me one guy in each round and give me good football players. And that's what you just did. So in the first round, Jason Verrett, home run. Second round, Jeremiah Attaochu, home run. Third round, Chris Watt, as solid as it gets at guard, triple. Fifth round, Ryan Carrethers needs some work, but he's going to eat up space inside the interior of your defense, double. Sixth round, Marion Grice, does it all type of back, could improve on pass pro, but the guy can catch it, can run out of the backfield, double. And in the 7th round, Tevin Reese, going to take the top off the defense, pure speed, double. So you add it all up. Home run, that's 8, triple 11, double 13, double 15, double 17. You divide it by 6. That's technically a double. Go ahead, round it up to a triple. It's a triple for the San Diego Chargers. I love this draft. It's a really, really good draft. One of my favorite drafts in 2014. San Diego Chargers. Man, I love it. And so, San Diego Superchargers have a triple in the 2014 NFL Draft Wrap-Up Series. And you know how this goes. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. This has been another installment of the 2014 NFL Draft Wrap-Up Series. We'll continue breaking down all the teams in the National Football League. So, the last question remains. Who's next?
Draft Zone.
Like the content? Want more? Sub up.